Hello everyone. We're going to be learning how to make a corsage from scratch. The supplies you will need are a good pair of wire cutters, heavy duty. You want to make sure you invest in a really good pair. The good pairs usually start anywhere from $16 and up into the $20 price range. Do buy one with a spring when you are using artificial flowers because it does help you cut the stems much easier. This one lost the spring because I've had this probably for 20 some years already and I still use it. But if you're not familiar with how to use them, I would recommend the spring. You want to get a good pair of shears, nice sharp pair for ribbon. And we are going to start by using a slap bracelet. These are very popular because they fit your wrist perfect. If you have a small wrist or a large wrist, you will not have to worry about ordering a corsage that either will be too tight or too loose. So this is the perfect base to start with. You could buy these at a local florist. If you have a vendor's license, you can get them at our local wholesale houses that sell to florists. Or simply you could buy these at the store. I'm sure most craft stores or other stores sell slap bracelets. I'm not sure what colors you can get them in. You can always paint them too and have fun with them. But this is one that's already made with a flange. This is called a flange, this piece here. It comes apart, and I've just wrapped the inner part, I'm going to bring this close to you, with ribbon. And the reason I put ribbon around this, because this is just plain plastic, is because I do want to glue to a coarse surface where I can glue my flowers to something besides just plastic. The reason I do that is because sometimes when you glue to plastic direct, it tends to come off easier because the glue just will kind of pop off. So this will help it so it will stay nice and secure. Okay, this is called a flange. So go ahead and put that back in. And the reason that we use this is so that you can remove this and they could always have a bracelet to wear afterwards. So it's kind of fun. If not, you can do the same concept that I did here, which is wrapping ribbon directly in the center of the flange. You will not be able to remove the corsage to the slap bracelet if you do so, but it can be done. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that's centered. And I'm going to start off by using some leaves that I have here, little leaves that I actually saved from other things that I've done in the past. You can buy larger leaves, which look like this, like these type of leaves. And I'm just going to use these as a base. You could always just use silk flower stems. You know, I save a lot of stuff. Don't ever throw away all your leaves and everything. If you wanted to do a natural look, you would just pick off stems from here and you could use that as your base. But I'm going to do this one a little more elegant. So I do want to have that feel of just elegance and all white. So I'm going to go ahead and use a few of these to start with. And what you want to do is just take these off. And I'm going to go ahead and just cut the stems right at the base. Okay. Just make sure you have, sometimes they stick together, you got to be careful. And go ahead and just dab a little glue. And I'm going to lay my first piece down. And I'm going to take another piece. That way. Now remember, when you're making this corsage, the bracelet is going to go this way. So you do want this to be in a vertical line opposite of the actual slap bracelet. Unless you wanted it to kind of flow more along your wrist, you can do it the other way. But we're going to start by just bringing these leaves out a little bit farther, like so. And then I take smaller leaves that I saved, again, from other things that I've used. Go ahead and put a little glue there, dab that to the side, and another one to the side. So basically I just framed it with just kind of a little two this way and two this way. Okay. Then I want to start with my flowers here. Okay, so now we're going to start with an orchid, and the fun thing about silks working with artificials is that you can cut pieces. Let me grab my other scissors here. I'm going to use another pair of scissors. So you don't want to use your good ribbon shears to cut textured items with, because this way it will hurt them from the ribbon. So I'm just going to take that little piece off because I want this to be a flat surface. So I need that little stem off. Sometimes you have to trim it with a little piece of wire. You have to get the little pieces with wire cutters. Now I'm going to go ahead and glue the back of that. I'm going to lay that down. So I'm starting my frame here. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with the other side. Just cut the back pieces off so it lays nice flat surface there. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and lay that one like this. And sometimes you could just turn them on a little angle. Can everybody see that? And that's what we're starting off with. Okay, now I'm going to take my roses. Make sure I put some glue in the glue gun. Go ahead and put a nice little chunk of glue there, and I'm going to go ahead and lay that. And you can kind of move them around once you have them set, so don't be afraid how it's going to lay exactly until you get it kind of where you want it to go. So I'm going to kind of move these around a little till I kind of feel where I need those to lay. And then you just kind of start squeezing stuff together. And again, be extremely careful you do not burn your fingers. Sometimes you just have to hold it for a few minutes just to make sure it's nice and snug. Okay, so now we have that. Okay, so now I'm going to go in and glue a few smaller pieces of the orchids that I have. And you kind of want things to lay on different angles. You don't want everything to be really flat. You kind of want to bring some of the flowers upright so you have different dimensions. And sometimes you'll see they have these tips on them. You could simply just cut those off. Again, do not use your good scissors. Have a pair on hand that you could use for cutting other materials. Okay, I took that little sharp edge off so I could kind of give it a different effect here. Okay, so now I have my base. So now that I have my flowers set, and again, just make sure everything's in place the way you want it to be. All your stems. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some ribbons and some fun stuff to it. You don't always have to make just this big giant bow in the center. Now everyone kind of likes things without a lot of ribbon, so we're just going to add pieces of ribbon. So what I'm going to do is just cut a little small piece here. And you take this and you put a little bit of glue on the edges. And I'm going to go ahead and just tuck this in different spots. And just keep taking a few little pieces and just take the glue and glue it in. This way you're just adding little pieces of ribbon. Let me show you what I have so far going on in different areas where you're not adding one gigantic bow. Now you could start off with a big bow at your base, but we're doing this a little different just to show you that there's other ways you can do things. Okay, I'm just gonna take a few more pieces of that. Okay, what I'd like to do along the way is I like to try it. So go ahead and smack it on there and see how it's looking. So far, so good. Okay, see? So we keep adding the ribbon. I don't want to be here all day and bore you with the ribbon, so I'm just going to kind of just add a little bit more just so we can get moving on this. A lot of girls like streamers on their corsages for proms or dances. That's really entirely up to you how you want to do that. Sometimes you could leave it without ribbon. Sometimes you could just add little touches of ribbon. Okay? Now you have to remember, when you're making corsages, You want to take your time and make sure that it's done correct. This is a piece of art. That's how I look at it. When you're creating something, you have to make sure it's done right. There's nothing worse than something falling apart on you. Okay, so now I have enough ribbon there that I think I could have fun with a little bit of excitement there and little trails of ribbon. Now you can find a lot of different embellishments that you can find. Now this is fun. I found these little guys. They're little rhinestone balls. You could even go to the store, like whether it's the dollar store, you know, all those discounted stores. I found this ring for 99 cents, and it has this beautiful rhinestone piece on it, which I think I'm going to use in my corsage. I like to buy a lot of things like this because you never know when you need stuff like this. So I'm just going to cut off the ring, but now I have this little rhinestone. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue this in. You kind of want to glue that in the center. I'm going to go ahead and cut my other ring. I love buying bracelets and things that I could just cut off the rhinestones and use them into corsages. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and use the other piece over here. And you just want that to set. Okay, and there you go. I got my rhinestones in there. Okay, so voila, we are done here. I'm going to try to move this here so I can show you this beautiful corsage. Let me grab my camera here so I can try to get a better angle here for you. Laying down. I hope that you could see that good. And there I have my beautiful corsage. I could wear this for any occasion, whether it be a dance, prom, for a wedding. It's a beautiful corsage. I hope that I helped you today, and if you have any questions, please leave it in the message section, and I would be happy to get in touch with you and reply. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it.